evening function, and in the evening function we will have Election Commissioner of India, Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, as our chief guest. May I now request Dr. Ajit Saxena, an expert in erectile dysfunction and male infertility. He's going to cover two subjects, erectile dysfunction and male infertility. I think erectile dysfunction is one subject which should interest everybody sitting here. A subject which is normally not being taught, not being discussed. And I'll request Dr. Kaveri Banerjee, an IVF specialist, to please moderate this session. And with her, may I request Dr. Anup to please co-moderate this session. I'll request Dr. Ajit Saxena to cover this topic, if possible, in 20 minutes, because I want to give 10 minutes for discussion. If he covers in 30 minutes, there will be no time. We will not allow any question and answers. So if you can finish it up in 20 minutes, 10 minutes can be a discussion.
Thanks. Thank you very much. Sir, I feel Dr. Ajit Saxena is the pioneer in therapeutic management of male infertility. No doubt about surgical management. And he has really done tremendous work. I feel he is the, founder of andrology and, founder of treating all male infertility patients. And I have a pleasure welcoming him today to speak on it.
Thank you very much, Anup. This is an excellent introduction, which I don't deserve, I think. And Madam, good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers, the eMedi News, Dr. K.K. Agarwal, for giving me, a urologist, a chance to address this august gathering. You see, we urologists suffer from a disadvantage. You go to any party, you find people discussing what wonderful treatment Dr. K.K. Agarwal has given, or what wonderful surgery Dr. Naresh Rana has done. But nobody wants to talk about the urinary problems in a party. कि मेरी मुट्ठी बंद हो गई थी और मैं डॉक्टर सक्सेना के पास गया. Ours is a bathroom speciality, and therefore this bathroom surgeon is very happy and thankful to the organizers for giving me a chance to talk in the drawing room.
Sorry, bathroom and a bedroom speciality.
We are going even further now into the bedroom. Now, I want you to understand a few concepts about sexual dysfunction. The first and foremost is this graph, which shows the number of coital events over 5 years and age in years. And now, look at this. At 50 years, the number of coitus events are half of what they would be at the age of 25 years of age. I can see a few heads nodding in the audience. Well, it is the truth, and we have to bow down to nature. Now, I do accept that there are a few exceptions to the rule, like my friend Dr. K.K. Agarwal, Dr. Ahluwalia, and of course, we can't forget N.G. Tiwari. But by and large, as age advances, there is a fall in the sexual performance. Now, the trouble comes because the desire doesn't fall as fast as the erectile process. And here lies all the pain and tribulations that a man suffers, because there is a discrepancy between the desire and the actual performance. This is where one should use change of lifestyle, use of medicines, even Viagra, which will shirk away from that, to match the performance up to the desire. The second thing I want you to understand is that the male sexual response consists of 4 distinct parts. First is the desire, which leads to stimulation and arousal and erection, and adequate stimulation results in orgasm, ejaculation and resolution, and finally comes the refractory phase, where no crane in the world can lift the damn thing up. Very few of you would probably know that the king of the jungle, the lion, the king of the jungle, takes only 20 seconds to do it. So any one of you who can do it for more than 20 seconds, you are a king. Coming to the physiology of erectile function, I've been asked to cover a lot in 20 minutes, so I'll just go a little fast. It all starts in the limbic cortex of the brain. So when one is thinking of, say, Aishwarya Rai, no, I think it's Katrina Kaif these days. So if you're thinking of her, this is where it affects. And the limbic cortex sends impulses via the nerves, lumbar parasympathetics, the nitric oxide, to cause an erection. This is not all. There has to be genital stimuli, there has to be proper intracavernosal pressure, and there has to be a hormone proper for the penis to have a proper erection. Poor penis, it has to undergo through all that before it can get an erection. Women sometimes don't realize that. In fact, I would say that anytime a man does get an erection, it's a mini miracle. History taking, to have a perfect relationship. We now have a very subjective, but objective, if I may use the word, questionnaire, which is an international index of erectile function. And there are 15 questions which a man can answer sitting in the lobby. And from that we can know which part is defective, the desire, the erectile function, or the ejaculation part. This is known as the IIEF and is used world over as a standard measure. Recently we have come to the erectile hardness score. I'm part of this global sexual health management thing, in which they did a study and they found that the one thing that the women want is not the length, is not the girth, but it's the hardness. And therefore, hardness was graded as one penis is larger but not hard. I mean, this is all technical stuff, but what the patient cannot understand that. So we devised a very ingenious method. One is like cotton wool. Two is like a peeled banana. Three is like an unpeeled banana, and fourth is like a cucumber. Next time you have a banana, don't think about this. What are the investigations that one does? By the time the patient comes to me, he's more or less investigated. He's had all the investigations done. And I only ask for a serum testosterone level, which has been missed out more often than not, total and free. In addition, I rely very heavily on penile Doppler study. Now this is very interesting. About 10 years ago, when I was looking for somebody to do the penile Doppler studies, I thought of some echo man who could do it. And who better than Dr. K.K. Kapoor, my colleague at Apollo. And I asked him, can he do it? And he was very excited at first. The situation now is that he does more penile Dopplers than echoes. And people call him penile cardiologist. This is the penile Doppler study. This is at the basal level, where there is a diastole phase. After giving papaverine, this diastole disappears and they have mountains here, which this is a normal study. What happens in venous leak, there is a failure, persistence of diastole and a failure of it to disappear. And this gentleman requires correction. In fact, here is a study preoperatively, and following correction of venous leak, we've got a perfect erection there. Venous leak surgery has been condemned unnecessarily. With penile Doppler, we are able to pick out cases of genuine venous leak and not physiological venous leak. There is anatomical venous leak and physiological. Anatomical venous leak, if you do surgery, wonderful results. Management of erectile dysfunction, oral drugs, we all know about Viagra, hormonotherapy, that is testosterone, and other medical measures. Viagra we all know about. Some of the recent drugs are phentolamine, apomorphine. Now this drug has just come in. Zydus has introduced it as Zyprima. They are the first ones in the country to introduce it. Vardenafil is not available in India, and Tadalafil is available by various companies. So, what are the other measures? Intracavernous injections. When we were students, when I was a student here at Maulana Azad, this is the only thing we used to do, is take a really big syringe and a big needle and stick it into the base of the penis and get the patient to have an erection.